Hi, welcome to this monthly session. And this month's theme is repair work on the brain. So it's brain boost. With this theme, we are going to come up with session to support your brain. And this would help with brain fog, memory, stress, anxiety, depression, clarity of mind, anything and everything that's related to brain. So to benefit from these sessions, all you need to do is sit comfortably, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths to get yourself centered, and then just tune into listening to this session. What I would recommend is pre-session, do a little assessment on yourself. If you've got any aches and pains, how's your posture doing? How are you doing mentally, emotionally? If it has to do with your memory, brain fog, or any conditions, write down your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health, and put it on the scale 0 to 5 as to how you are feeling in this moment or what's your current state. So make sure you take that analysis and keep a record. And then you listen to the distance group healing session. And then a week later, you do the same assessment again and look through those parameters if anything has shifted. And then surely feel free to message me, comment me, sharing any shifts that you are experiencing. Because this will help you build up awareness on what's going on and what is shifting. So take a few deep breaths and close your eyes. And I'm going to connect with your energetic blueprint, and we are going to do a treatment with the focus of healing the brain and brain boost. So firstly, I'm coming up with a treatment which is called cortices. So we are working on balancing the brain. So this is a technique that you could learn from my website, from a video. I'll add a link here so you can watch the video and learn this technique. So basically, I'm covering the whole midline of the head, and I'm focusing on balancing the left and right hemisphere and improving the circulation. And this also helps with memory, optimization of the nervous system, getting the brain out of the mild state of shock with our everyday stresses. And then we are balancing the limbic brain. So a simple brain balancing technique, simple and profound. You can do this for yourself on everyday basis. And now what I'm tuning into is optimizing the left and right brain. So I'm picking up a mild torque, a mild tilt between the two hemispheres, and which in turn is compromising the communication and circulation. So I'm doing this technique energetically, which is realigning the brain. And we're also working with optimizing the circulation and nerve supply to the brain. And I'm specifically picking up and working with the governing vessel meridian, which controls the whole of the central nervous system. Governing vessel meridian runs through the spine, and that controls our cognitive function. And I'm specifically running a treatment on governing vessel 16 acupuncture point, which is at the base of the neck, governing vessel 20, which is top of the head. And I'm working on optimizing the flow of qi and nerve supply through these centers of the brain and through the flow of qi and meridian. As well as I'm working on further linking this to conceptual vessel 17 acupuncture point, which is all about bringing in the blood supply to the brain. So we are focusing on optimizing the circulation, nerve supply, lymphatic drainage, and hydration with easy water, which is H3O2, to the cerebrospinal fluid around the brain. So this is about getting the nutrition, the circulation, the hydration. And now I'm working on clearing the stress in form of emotional neuropeptides. And we are working on neutralizing and draining out these emotional neuropeptides from the third and fourth ventricle in the brain. So these ventricles are what drains the cerebrospinal fluid. So we are focusing on draining out all these excessive free radicals, stress, emotional neuropeptides, and harmonizing it through this pump, which is called cerebrospinal fluid and the whole of the craniosacral rhythm. And we are neutralizing it through the ventricles. And I'm bringing in a sound frequency of Om to neutralize the third and fourth ventricle. So this is like clearing up all the debris. Now we are also working on sphenobasilar joint, which is in the center of the brain, on top of which the pituitary gland sits. And this joint could be compromised due to stress. So we are looking at releasing the sphenobasilar joint and optimizing the circulation and chi in the brain. And now I'm working on running a reset on the head, heart, and gut brain. And we're looking at sort of optimizing and amplifying the volume of the heart brain, which is all about your inner knowing and wisdom, which is about amplifying the creativity and intuition of your right brain. And we are further looking at amplifying the gut brain. Gut brain is all about your discernment, your intellect, decision making. So we're looking at running a reset on these three brains. So they're functioning more in harmony, and there is less emphasis and stress on the head brain. And now we are looking at the filters of the gut brain. So we're looking at what is contributing to this compromised communication from the gut brain. So I'm optimizing the gut microbiome, and we are looking at increasing the production of serotonin and GABA from the gut neuroendocrine cells. What is compromising it is some inflammatory markers, and this is accumulated stress. So we are looking at running some treatments, such as cellular repair treatment, to clear these epigenetic markers and to bring in the circulation and optimize these gut microbiome, which synthesize serotonin and GABA, which are mood stabilizing hormones. So amplifying and optimizing the production and synthesis of serotonin and GABA, and this would help with mood stability, anti-anxiety. Then we're looking at rebooting the gut profile, gut microbiome profile, and balancing this gut-brain axis, which plays a big role with anxiety and stress. And now we are looking at optimizing the heart brain, and we are looking at increasing the production of dopamine and oxytocin. So 90% of dopamine and oxytocin is produced in the heart brain. So this treatment would be helpful for anxiety, depression, OCD, mood swings. So balancing the amygdala complex with the brainstem for the production of oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. And this is when the amygdala complex is the center of the brain, which gets into the fight, flight, survival mode, which scans the environment for stress and produces the stress hormones. So we are looking at optimizing these happy hormones, serotonin, GABA, and dopamine from the brainstem. So once the stressor has passed, the nervous system could settle down and get back into its homeostasis, into its state of balance. So optimizing these neurotransmitters from the brainstem, as well as increasing the dopamine and oxytocin supply to the nervous system, and specifically to the amygdala complex. Now, another balancing that is showing up as a priority is we are looking at optimizing the amygdala complex out of the fight, flight, survival mode, which is constant high stress hormones. And we are doing this by balancing the HPA, hypothalamus pituitary and adrenal axis, which is the hormonal pathway, as well as the neurological pathway through the brainstem. So rewiring the amygdala complex out of this fight, flight, survival mode by relinking it to the prefrontal cortex for putting things into right perspective, and further linking it to the septal area of the brain, which is the center of the brain with bliss and joy. Then we are also looking at rewiring and this new neuropathways, so rebuilding, refocusing the new neuropathways for amygdala complex, and this is for shifting the amygdala complex out of this fight, flight, survival mode into tend and befriend mode, which is increased production of dopamine and oxytocin. So whenever there's a stress, instead of instantly triggering this survival mode and producing high cortisol levels and putting that threat mode, the amygdala complex now is rewired to produce more oxytocin and dopamine and being able to see things from different perspectives. Then we're also working with optimizing the pineal gland, hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal, which is Brow chakra, third eye. So opening up the third eye for clairvoyance, for seeing things for what they are, for being able to see the bigger picture. We are also bringing in this consciousness of disentanglement from your stresses. And disentanglement consciousness is where you're able to see things for what they are and deal with it in a practical way without getting into overwhelm or feeling identified or traumatized by it. So we are bringing in this consciousness of a neutral observer, the one who's witnessing the drama of life, the stresses, whether it's your personal life or work situation, where you're not feeling identified and traumatized, but you're able to observe it as a neutral observer. So we're looking at running a reset on this consciousness on the pineal gland and third eye. And we are looking at clearing all the underlying fears and insecurities that are contributing to this stress mechanism. Now we are working on one more aspect, which is called vertical time. So horizontal time is when the brain is focused and blocked by the past perception, emotional traumas and stresses, and the fears and concerns of the future. Whereas we're looking at rewiring the nervous system into vertical time, which is collapsing all that past and future into the present moment. And this is strongly anchoring it to the heart brain. So you're more in the state of flow, you're more in the present moment. So this central medial part of thalami, which is the center in the thalamus, is able to release and discern and grieve and let go of the past, so you're anchored into the present moment. And this will also open up the heart energy for being more in tune with your passion, working with your inspiration and enthusiasm of your life, versus being more head brain driven, which is motivation, and more fixated with the end goals. So bringing this shift to clear all that stress, anxiety, and being able to see things from a different perspective. And now we are looking at balancing the spin of all the chakras for detoxification at the energetic level and emotional level. So now I want you to take a few deep breaths as I'm just working on integrating this session through activating the head, heart, and gut brain. So this session would help you with switching off all the stress, burnout, rewiring the nervous system, running a reset on your three brains so you're feeling more in peace, harmony, enhancing your creativity, as well as clearing all the emotional blockages. It will help you with clearing the brain fog, optimizing your memory, and just being able to deal with life in a more sort of neutral perspective. So let's see how this helps you. And after listening to this session in a week's time, reevaluate how you're doing. And I'll be happy to hear your feedback. You can directly message me, you can put it as a message on the video, but would be happy to hear how this treatment is helping you. Have a good day. Bye.